Hello, welcome back. So in this part, we will discuss about the cement hydration, or in other term, we can say cement reaction with water. So anhydrous Portland cement cannot bind sand and rock. So in simple form, dry cement cannot bind sand and rock. It will be able to bind them only when it is mixed with water and it react with water. So as it is written here, it acquires the adhesive property only when it is mixed with water. So this is because the chemical reaction of cement with water, and it commonly referred to as the hydration of cement. And after the hydration, it gives the product that is of very hardening characteristics, which means the product, the byproduct of this reaction is basically a very hard product. So therefore, to understand the property and behavior of cement and concrete, some knowledge of the chemistry of hydration is very much necessary. So in this diagram, I have shown a simplified illustration of hydration of cement. So we will see in a quick manner the hydration process of cement paste. So in this diagram, you can see when water is added to the cement. So this phase diagram, there you can see this is the diagram of fresh cement. In the fresh cement, when it is not mixed with water, what are the various compounds which are present in the cement? One is C2S, C3A, calcium sulfate. Now this calcium sulfate is basically the gypsum. So as I told you earlier, gypsum is added to the cement so that the setting time of the cement can be increased. Because if we don't mix the cement, if we don't mix gypsum with the cement, then what will happen is cement will get flesh set. Once the water is mixed with cement, it will get flesh set. So to avoid that, we add some quantity of gypsum, and that is why there you can see some quantity of gypsum is present in the fresh cement. The other compound which is present in the cement is C3S, and this is ferrite. This ferrite is basically C4AF. So these are some of the main compounds that are present in the fresh cement. So now when we mix cement with the water, what happens after 15 minutes? What is happening? So in the 15 minutes interval, what is happening? There you can see protective layer of ettringite formed on the C3A. So the major compound, the first compound which will react with water will be C3A. C3A will react first with water, and it will try to get set. Very fast. So this fast setting can be avoided when this calcium sulfate comes into the play. So at the same time, when C3A will be reacting with water, at the same time calcium sulfate will also be reacting. Calcium sulfate is gypsum, so it will also be reacting, and what it will do is it will retard the setting of C3A to some extent. Okay, so this is the process which will be happening at around 15 minutes. Then if we go to the next process, which is after 3 hours. So what will happen after 3 hours? In the third phase diagram, see it says cement paste starts to set. So as C3A is reacting first with water, it provides some initial or early strength to the cement. So in the first 3 hours, C3A is mainly responsible to impart some strength along with the other compound, which is C3S. C3S will also start reacting with water, and it will make two compounds with water when it reacts with water. If I say like this, C3S plus H2O. When it reacts with water, it makes two compounds. One is CSH and the other one is CaOH2. So CSH is calcium silicate hydrate gel, and CaOH is calcium hydroxide, which is, so C3S will react with water and it will start forming these compounds, CSH and CaOH. We will discuss more about them in the next slides. Then after 28 days, now after 3 hours, now next on the next phase diagram, we are seeing the fourth diagram, which is showing the condition of cement after 28 days. Now, what is happened in these 28 days? Cement paste hardened. There are some grains of cement which are unreacted. So there you can see these are unreacted grains. So these are because these grains may be of larger size, maybe more than 40 micron. So these grains were not able to react properly with water. There you can see. So these are some grains of cement which are left without reacting. As it says, cement paste hardened, unreacted. Then center of coarse particle porosity depends on water cement ratio. Yes, water cement ratio is also a main factor which affects the cement hydration. And then on the right hand side, there you can see C2S was also reacting with water in the 28 days, and it was also making the same CSH gel which C3S was making. So C3S starts making CSH gel first, and after some times C2S also starts forming additional CSH gel. So this CSH gel is the main gluing property or a main essence of this cement hydration, which mainly imparts or which mainly hold together or bind together the other particles such as aggregates and sands. Okay, so this is the process of cement hydration from first day to 28 days. But that doesn't mean that cement hydration process is stopped. No, cement hydration process will be continued for years. But first 28 days is very important for us because around 70% strength is gained in this period by the cement. So we need to provide adequate water so that the reaction between cement particles and water is happening properly. And that is why sometimes we apply, after the casting, we apply some additional water to the concrete surface, which is called curing. So that is we are doing just because so that the reaction between cement and water will be happening properly. So the reaction of cement with water is basically the exothermic, which means when water is added to the cement, it liberates some heat. So there in the table you can see different compounds, how they are liberating the heats in first 3 days, then 90 days, and in up to 13 years. So C3S in first 3 days, it liberates this much heat. C2S is the least reactive in first 3 days. C3A is the most reactive compound in first 3 days, and you can see it also liberates a very huge heat in the first 3 days. So that is why we need to limit C3A. If we provide in C3A in excess, it may crack, or it may induce some defects to the cement also. Then fourth compound is C4AF. So these are the heat property of these four compounds, and then the heat of these compounds after 90 days. C3A is still the highest heat liberator, and C2S is still the least heat liberator. And then if we see up to 13 years, C3A, C2S, and C3S, and then C4AF. So this is the heat pattern of these compounds. Now, the major compounds which are responsible for imparting the strength to the cement are these two compounds, C3S and C2S. C3S is mainly responsible for early strength, probably for early 28 days strength. So as I told you that up to 70% strength of OPC, ordinary Portland cement, is achieved by the reaction of C3S. So C3S is mainly responsible for giving strength to cement after 28 days. C2S is also contributing, but it contributes in the later stage. I will show this with the graph. So now we will discuss all the components of cement hydration reaction one by one, and their role and their effects after the cement hydration process. So first we will discuss about the calcium silicate hydrates. So I hope you remember now. Calcium CSH, it is also abbreviated as CSH, calcium silicate hydrates. So this CSH is basically the byproduct of C2S and C3S after the reaction of water. So there you can see during the course of reaction, C3S and C2S with water, calcium silicate hydrate abbreviated as CSH and calcium hydroxide are formed. So when C3S and C2S react with water, then CSH and calcium hydroxide are formed. Calcium silicate hydrates are the most important product. As I mentioned earlier, this CSH is the most important product of cement hydration, because this is the main material which binds the other elements altogether. So in cement, the binding work is done by CSH mainly, and that is why it is the essence that determines the good properties of concrete. And in cement, if we see the percentage of volume of CSH, then it constitutes around 50 to 60% of volume of solid in a completely hydrated cement paste. Completely hydrated cement paste means when the reaction with cement is completed, reaction of cement with water is completed, then the byproduct is called completely hydrated cement paste. So of that, 50 to 60% volume is of CSH. So earlier it was considered doubtful of hydration of both C3S and C2S, which may result in the formation of the same hydrated compound, which is CSH. But later on, it was seen that ultimately the hydrates of C3S and C2S, they will turn out to be the same. So earlier, people were not aware that C3S byproduct and C2S byproduct both are same, but it was found lately. So the following are the approximate equations that are showing the reaction of C3S and C2S. So I explain you this. So this is the reaction. This is basically the form of C3S. So you are aware, I have shown you the table in which C3S full form is like this. 3CaO SiO2. So when this react with water, then the particle, I mean the byproduct which is forming here is CSH. So CSH full form is, this whole full form is of CSH. So in short, we can say this as CSH. So it can be written like this: C3S plus water. So in water, if in short form we abbreviate water with H. So this is we are doing only in case of cement chemistry, not in a general chemistry. In case of cement chemistry, we are simply abbreviating this large formula into the small one, so that it will be in our communication. So the byproduct is CSH and CaOH. CaOH is calcium hydroxide. If we see them corresponding to their weights, so if 100 unit is of C3S is mixed with 24 unit of water, then in the byproduct CSH is of 75 units and CaOH is of 49 units. Now, if we compare this with the reaction of C2S, so till now we were discussing about the C3S. Now, in case of C2S, if we mix C2S with water, the same byproduct we will obtain, which is CSH and CaOH. But the difference is when we add 100 units of C2S with 21 unit of water, we get 99 units of CSH and 22 units of CaOH. So which means C2S will give us more CSH as compared to C3S. But the only issue there is C2S reacts very slowly, while C3S react very fast. As I told you, for first 28 days, C3S is mainly responsible for imparting strength to the cement. C2S contribute to the strength lately. So, but the product so obtained from the C2S is of high quality as compared to the product obtained from the C3S. So in general, the quality of the product of hydration of C2S is better than that produced in the hydration of C3S. So there in this graph, you can see the development of strength of pure compounds. So there you can see up to 28 days, the contribution of C2S is only around 5 MPa, while the contribution of C3S after 28 days for a particular cement is about 50. So it is around 10 times more than the contribution of C2S. So although after some time, as you can see, after 28 days, the contribution of C2S increases, and as within 1 year, the contribution matches with the C3S. The other compound, which are C3A and C4AF, they also contribute to the strength, but to a very small extent. For initial strength, say for first 15, 20 or 30 minutes, the cement which gets set, that is just because of the contribution of C3A along with C4A. So C3S mainly react with water and produces more heat of hydration as compared to C2S. It is basically comparison with the C2S. And it is mainly responsible for first 28 days strength of concrete, as I told you. C2S hydrates slowly and it is responsible for the later strength of concrete. So now we will talk about the calcium hydroxide. So till now we were talking about the CSH. Again, I'm telling you, if we react with C3S and H2O. Then the byproduct is CSH plus CaOH. I will write here CaOH2. So this is called calcium hydroxide. So this is again the product of hydration of C3S and C2S. And it mainly constitutes 20 to 25% of the volume of solid in the hydrated paste. CSH is about 60%, then 20 to 25% volume is of calcium hydroxide. Well, calcium hydroxide is not a desirable product in the concrete mass. So it is not desirable that concrete calcium hydroxide should form. It is not desirable, but it forms, and this calcium hydroxide is soluble in water, and because it is soluble into water, it gets leached out. So when there is a rain or when there is an external water application to the concrete structures, the CaOH gets soluble with the water, and it gets out of the concrete structures. And what happens is when when it gets out, leached out, then it makes concrete porous. And when the concrete becomes porous, then it will attract the moisture, and further it may make the reinforcement within the concrete vulnerable to the corrosion. So particularly in case of hydraulic structures where we retain liquid, it is not desirable to have calcium hydroxide in the cement, but somehow it is there. But in the recent advancement, there are some efforts which are being made for the development of cement with less quantity of CaOH. So in the cement manufacturing, some amount of fly ash, pozzolana are mixed so that this CaOH quantity is minimized. Well, we cannot remove CaOH completely because it has one advantage in the cement, and that advantage is the alkalinity. So as the CaOH is alkaline in nature, it maintains the pH value of concrete, and because of this there is a passivative layer around the reinforcement which are being embedded into the concrete. So that is why it protects the reinforcement also. So that is why we cannot completely remove the CaOH because it is advantageous too. So, but we have to see how it can be minimized. So this is minimized using the other mineral admixtures such as pozzolana and fly ash, silica fume, etc. Then coming to the another product. So till now we were discussing about the C3S, C2S and their byproduct. Now coming to the next compound, which is C3A and C4AF. So we will talk about them all together. Now the reaction of pure C3A with water is very fast, as I mentioned earlier. It is very fast and it may lead to flash set. So if we don't mix gypsum with cement, then cement will flash set in a moment. So to avoid that, we add gypsum. So here, to prevent this, gypsum is added at the time of grinding of the cement clinker. C3A also contribute to the initial strength of concrete, but to a very less extent, not to a very large extent. And if we talk about the C4AF, which is calcium aluminoferrite, it does not contribute much to the strength of concrete, but it shows a comparatively high resistance to the attack of sulfates than the hydrates of the calcium aluminates. Well, if this C3A is in very large quantity, then if it gets contact with the sulfates, Well, I discussed earlier that calcium hydroxide is undesirable. There is one more disadvantage of calcium hydroxide is if cement gets in contact with the sulfate, then calcium hydroxide will react with the sulfate, and then further after that it will react with the aluminates, which is the product of C3A. And when it react with aluminate, then it will start disintegrating the concrete. So that is why the quantity of C3A or aluminate in a large quantity is not desirable, because it may lead to the further disintegration of the concrete. So that is why C3A and C4AF are in very less amount. So here it says C4AF does not contribute much to the strength of concrete, but it shows a comparatively higher resistance to the attack of sulfates than the hydrates of calcium aluminates. Effect of cement characteristics on structural property of cement. Well, cement characteristics can be enhanced because of the variation of complex compound which are present in the cement. So if we, as I have written here, it is possible to change the strength development characteristics of cement simply by altering the compound composition. So if we alter the quantity of C3S, C2S, C3A, C4AF, if we alter their quantity, then the characteristics, the strength characteristics of the cement can be changed. So here it says, for instance, the early strength at 3, 7, and 28 days would be high if the cement contains a relatively large amount of C3S and C3A. So there you can see the large quantity of C3S is in the cement because it is mainly responsible for early strength of the cement. C3A is also responsible to some extent for the early strength of the cement. The early strength of cement will be low if the cement contains larger proportion of C2S. So if we reverse the composition, if we increase the quantity of C2S and decrease the quantity of C3S, then what will happen? As C2S will react late, so it will not be able to provide strength to cement in early, and that is why the strength characteristics of cement will be altered, and it will take large time to gain the same amount of strength which it gains in 28 days. So in that period it may take around 90 days or 100 days or more to get the same strength if C2S is in high quantity as compared to C3S. The rates of strength development and heat evolution can also be controlled by controlling the fineness of the cement. Yes, it is desirable to make cement as fine as possible. If the cement is very fine, which means if the grain size of cement is less, say around 10 micron or less, then it will react with water very fast, and if react fast, then it will gain strength fast, maybe before 28 days. So the fineness of cement is desirable to a very high extent. So this is the summary. So in today's lecture, we have discussed cement is basically a hydraulic binder. Hydraulic binder means when it reacts with water, it gets strength. And the cement that we are using today is developed after the invention of Joseph Aspdin. And cement is manufactured using the dry and wet process, and chemical composition determine the type of cement. If we alter the chemical composition of cement, it may be of different type of cement. And box compound formation is happened during the clinkering process. Box compound are C3S, C2S, C4AF, C3A. So these are the main compound of cement which are responsible for the strength characteristics of cement. and cement gain strength after the reaction with water. So dry cement cannot gain strength. So these are the reference links that I have used to prepare this lecture. Thank you.